What in the name of Gold Rush is this? Bruh. If there was this much gold in America during the Gold Rush, everyone would have just packed up and left the European countries perma. What is this? Dude, this is enough gold. There's so much gold on this map, I can actually hear Swiss bankers fapping from here. This is insane. All right, welcome back to another Outback Octagon 2 preview. The players are practicing again. This time it looks like we haven't got a desync, so we will actually have a game on our hands. And as I've already highlighted, this game has a lot of gold. The papacy treasury is jealous of how much gold is present in this one location. It's absolutely insane. I mean, it puts Adolf's raid on Europe to shame how much gold is on this map. Absolutely mind blown. I have never seen a generation with this much gold. Someone put a mod on where Malians could have as many pit mines as they want, please. I need it in my life. Anyway, let's talk about the people we need in our game. Anatan, playing as the French in the blue, has a next door neighbor to him. Is going to be Puppy Paw in the teal as the Roost. Now, we have to head far, far away to the north to discover in purple. We're going to have Divine DFP on the HRE. Nice little wholesome slotted area away from any contest, but also away from any relics. Not the most desirable position for an HRE player. Just to the south, we are going to have Recon of the Chinese in the pink. His position, a little bit better, but really, we want to go where gold has been struck. We want to go to maximum sexy town. We move in to check out the sexy boy himself. I know Warman's going to be raising their hands in the chat. It is, of course, Beastie Cutie, starting off in the center of the map. The Malian King, fittingly on the Malians, between 3 big gold veins. Has also got wood nearby. Actually a great starting position for him. And just to the south, we are going to find Wham in the red playing as the Roost. Next to the waterfront, plenty of deer around. So an opportunity to build up a big bounty as well as get the food online. A nice position for him. Then on the other side of the river, just to the south, we have got Avali in the green as the Malians as well. We'll have access to that fish. Plenty of gold in his area as well. And then just off to the east, we are going to have Core on the Malians. We got a lot of Malians this game. Interesting. And his position actually for Malian is really good here. Starts with 2 goals right next to him, third one not too far away. Only problem with this actually, now that I think about it, is you have the house issue, right? Generating around the pit mine, you want additional houses. It's kind of counterintuitive to stick your TC next to them like this, because if you're going to use this one for the pit mine, then you can't full house it. But of course, as we move on in the game, he could just move out and pit mine a little bit further away. So if he wants to min-max that gold in the late game, expect him to delete pit mines here and build them elsewhere. I still can't get over how much gold there is. And people highlighting that Wham doesn't have any wood. Yeah, he's only got straggler trees. Funnily enough, these straggler trees plus this little piece here looks like a weird kind of demonized nose thing. Outside that, really no wood at all. Some people are getting infinite wood, though. Recon has a woodworker for life, as does Avali. Avali has the safest pit mine placement in the entire game. I don't think anyone else got stuck in this spawn spot. I've seen a few games where people's king gets stuck somewhere awkward, but I think overall, everyone's kings are free, and outside 2 villages, no one else is stuck. Yeah, let's talk a little bit about this spawn for Wham, because it's hard to ignore. He's already taken an injury to the king, 178 health. Yikes. This type of position doesn't really feel good. He can play to the north side, but it's not going to be well guarded. He can somewhat wall this off. In fact, actually, he could contain himself, but you don't want to rush to it, right? If you try to rush up fortified palisades, it's just going to burn through your ability to get more fishing boats out. But the logical play long-term is to move up towards this wood line here. Anything else just kind of feels not really worth it. You'll probably see him drop the Kremlin in this area just for the small wood lines, but after that, there's no other great options. As the game goes on, he can migrate upriver. There's huge wood lines on the eastern front, and unlikely they're going to be contested in the short or mid-term. And I'm still kind of surprised by Divine DFP's location. I mean, I say I'm surprised. I feel bad for him, because it's not him making this choice, this suboptimal choice, consciously. He doesn't obviously know what we know. He doesn't have the gold vision we do. I would say that it's kind of irksome to be so corner-bound as an HRE player in any Mega Random, considering most relics do not spawn on the edge, so you feel like you're always going to miss out in that regard. But unfortunately for him, like, it's not just the relics he misses out on, it's the gold spawns. I feel like this is almost the only spot, one of maybe 3 spots you could have chosen that don't have gold. In fact, any other area of the map has plenty of gold on it. Good lord. Look at that. Love that from Beastie. Pit mine on the eastern one, because of course he has room for houses all the way around, so super optimal here. I remember this is the best way to do it, right? You want to be on the big gold veins, because big gold veins are higher value for pit mines. Small ones can only have so many houses. They can have, like, what is that? I think it's, I want to say 10. But fat ones, you can already see you can exceed 10 here. Like, it's pretty delicious what you can get here, up to 12. And folks, all of his pit mines are going to be big gold veins. So don't expect him to hang around in the early ages too long. People trying to highlight that BC's position is kind of awkward, but like, yeah, I'd argue his isn't the only one that's kind of awkward here. I mean, the reality is that Avali is going to realize that Wham's here quite quickly, and they could end up contesting each other. Like one transpose ship, an aggro force across the javelins. You could stick Wham in a world of pain. Also, consider that Recon has a concern to his north, and this concern has no one else to worry about, right? If Divine DFP chooses to aggro at all, with, say, a fast castle, maybe goes to a Burgrave build, for example, there's only one person he's going to be gunning for. So I actually don't think BC's position is as bad as you'd originally think. Especially when you consider other players aren't going to be a threat factor, right? Blue and Teal are going to have a contest back and forth for a long time. In fact, Teal is going to be opening up with a middle finger here. Kremlin drop on the big gold vein. Not quite in range of the base, and I'm a bit surprised by this. I think you maybe could have went for a deeper pull, but it would have been risky because there's a world in which Anatan just pulls all his villagers and stabs you down before you can complete. And, well, speaking of stab down. Wait, did... Anatan? I call him Little B for a reason. Look what he done. He walked through, he chopped his way deep. He was looking to be an absolute pain in the arse, but instead... he's going to get a pain in the arse, a big knife up that arse, in fact. We'll be able to walk away, barely alive, but I love that he's trying for these type of cheeky plays. It's his only option as well. Like, there's no other world in which he gets in early because of this Kremlin now. In fact, I'd be surprised if he invests heavily into Knights. I feel like he maybe just needs to go on the stone and try to get multi-TCs going himself. Age up starting to come out. We need to check on the river because it looks like only 2 players are on there right now. Green and red. Now, that's very important because if there was a 3rd player here, I think it creates a dynamic where you're fighting. But considering their position, you might just see one player take North River and one take South and just stay out of each other's ways. That does benefit both players because considering how quick Joe, or rather BC's tech up time is going to be due to these houses and the fat pit mines, Wham is going to need to defend there. If Avali was parting with him as well, Wham's just first out of the game. But because of the dynamics that like to play out here, you'll probably see Malian on Malian action. I don't think Core's going to be allowed to just sit back here. I don't think he just wants to allow his next door neighbor to flourish like this. Because, you know, any tech time you can get in this situation is going to be beat, considering the other Malian player has big gold veins, but also has got access to the fish. Actually, would love to see Anatan just go south now to that river side. Let's check his vision, because I wonder if he even knows. Yeah, so he actually had to run across the river, so he knows about this area. It's a big opportunity miss right now. Instead, he's going to be on the stone, so he's going to be going for that multi-TC we talked about. I do think that it would be worthwhile just setting up one dock here, though. Just sorts all your food needs. Because otherwise, like, where is your food coming from? You can see he's moved the deer to the south side. He's got a boar over here as well. Outside that, everything else to move to feels quite risky. And a dock really is just a free play in this game. It's not like you're going to be desperate for wood with this generation. Oh, I love this from Poppyport. This man plans ahead. You can see he's already setting himself up a nice little base in the corner where he'll try to expand into. A very defendable area as well with natural resources helping in that regard. Also, just look at how he's utilizing this tree line. So many hunter cabins going down already. We're starting to see that this is the new meta. Man, if only he knew and went around the backside here, we'd probably get even more gold out of these tree lines. And we do now see that move we talked about before for Wham. This is, by the way, his feudal landmark. He's still been sitting cozy and dark this whole time. as has Avali, courtesy of the fact they both went for fish. It sets up the Golden Gate super far away. We talked about the idea of extending upriver, and he had the same feeling on it. BC is getting a sniff out on what's happening in Wham's base. BC has to be very confident in the idea of just once you tapping up, and you can see it in the resources already. He's not hanging around. This Castle Age unlock is going to be incredibly dangerous for Wham. I don't know if he'll be able to survive it. I think his entire eco is going to be threatened. Even if he tries to build chips to defend himself, Javelin throwers are no pushover. They can still annihilate boats. Meanwhile, the Bardouching is commencing, so it looks like the Gremlins have been released. Walls weren't fully constructed in this area. It looks like the Knights were able to slow it down, but Avali will be able to return a second time over to do what he started. Oh, speaking of seconds, he's getting that second TC up now. The fast stack of stones here, this might just be 3 or possibly 4 TCs. I actually don't mind 4 TCs in this type of format. It just allows you to go out to risky areas to take resources, and then always have these backup resources in the corner. Meanwhile, north side. Wait, does Recon know? Oh my god. I don't think Recon knows. I actually don't think Recon knows that Divine... He's just walled Divine DFP in with him. This is like being in one of those horror movies where an axe-wielding murderer is chasing you, and you run into a closet to hide, and there's a bear in there. You know? That's what this is here. Because you're playing Chinese, you're playing loose with 2 TC Song. Or presumably Linda Song. Right now he's only sitting in Tang. Which makes it worse that he hasn't scouted this out, by the way. Meanwhile, your opponent in this little arena you've created is about to go Castle Age on your ass. And probably going to Knights. I'm not feeling good about Recon's odds here. I do love what Wham has done, though. Shifted all the way north. We talked about him taking this wood line. He just wants to strip his eco away from the aggressive field, right? This is the area where you know BC's hunting. So what does he do? He goes all the way upriver onto the fat wood line. He's not going to have to move his eco again anytime too soon. And it means he's got less things to worry about BC taking out. Now BC's only focus area is going to be on this waterfront. But admittedly, there are plenty of people to be focused upon. See, Wham is trying to rush his tech up here. And that's the bad news. This should be the point where Recon's a little bit suspicious. It's like, why is the scout in here? And why is a villager in here? Did he run a... Was he trying to tower rush someone? Why is there... There's no reason you should have Divine to be a villager in here. What's going on? And then it just kind of like sinks in like, oh. Oh yeah, I just walled us in, didn't I? Oy, oy, oy. Recon is nowhere near ready for a tech up. You'll at least be able to get the spearmen, so that'll slow down any sort of aggro onto him. By the way, the reason you're seeing this chop through by Divine is he needs to get out and get the relics. Right? Try and milk it while he can. A lot of these relics are simply not going to be accessible to him, though. And look at this. Beastie. Did he just use treason? He may have just used treason. Speaking of which, yeah, in the Barbican, there we go. So I think he's trying for maybe an opportunity there. I would say BC's best goal, like best bet really, is just to focus on Wham, though. Wham's playing super secluded. I think he ran his king away, though. Did he? Damn. He did. He went upriver. So he's in the transpo. If you get enough archers together, this guy still dies very easily, though, even in a transport ship. Love the high trade house. Oh, my God. Apparently, this map did not have enough gold. Apparently, it wasn't enough that we had all the big Swiss banks here. We need to get all the American banks across as well. 372 gold a minute. 372. I wish I made that sort of money from Twitch subs. We could at least get close as people start subbing every minute, though. Good Lord. Well, tension is building on the western front. Anatand escalating his army. Poppy Paul, meanwhile, has kept a very sleek army count. His high trade houses. Yeah, I'm sorry, Puppy Paw. This is just pathetic. I mean, honestly, if I was you, I'd hit the delete key. I think we know who the superior brother here is. I'm sorry, but, you know, 372, and you've got 236. I am a disappointment. You'd think you would get more as well. What is the... I need to check out. Let's switch to the UI. Puppy only got 150. Wham got 520. There's your answer. Good God. People talking about it's almost 5 relics. Well, let's check on the relic situation elsewhere. Divine DFP actually went for a keep drop. Only has 1 relic and is really looking to secure some territory. He's still open himself. He will set up the outpost for any sort of early warning against aggro. And Recon forced to go very early into a granary transition. Not even full swing either. It feels really bad when it happens this way. Instead of just investing 250 wood and surrounding it, you know, you're not even half surrounding it in this situation. Obviously, this is still better than a mill. And you want this long term, but usually when you see players make this transition, they're adding 10, 12 farms at a time. Recon is simply not a big enough boy yet for that. BC has been very chill up to this point. I think that is changing though, as soon as I say that. Yeah, he's been chill, but he's done with that. All right, only thing that's going to be ice cold now, the corpses he leaves behind. Rams are moving in, knocking on Recon's door. This is about to be a world of pain. So Recon is already paranoid about his flank because of Divine DFB. Now, luckily for him, Divine has a grand total of, why would I need military? Unluckily for him, he still has to be concerned about it and set up defenses in case there's an assault in that area. For the time being, the assault is coming from for an ass to the south. Beastie Mountain Assault, one that isn't going to be distracted from anytime too soon. Wham has no interest in fighting in this area. This is looking like a quick 1-2 snipe. I think Beastie's going to get 300 pop cap in the next 10 minutes, if that. I mean, he's 3 Rams. It's going to take him a little bit of time to breach the HRE, but you can see that Divine DFB, he's set up farms. He's not ready to fight at all. And Recon is going to get a backup key because he needs to retreat away from this. So primary TC is down. The Malian army keeps building. And Puppy Paw almost helped out. I was about to say, he's about to lead an army into the Malian base, but Anatan is sticking to his own territory, so the one hope at reprieve for Recon is now gone. Meanwhile, the Malian civil war is underway. We finally get to see them clash. Core and Avali at it. Not enough to really break the base, though. This looks like it's going to be a stalemate for at least a while longer. Avali has definitely laid in enough to protect him. Also has the Grand Fulani Corral. So long term, he's going to be better off. Meanwhile, it's Farimba reliance for Core. It's kind of crazy, actually. You can't seem to eke out a military advantage here. They're more or less drawn out neck and neck. And Divine DFP uses irony. He's like, oh, you walled me in? Now I'm going to wall you in. I don't know if you'll survive the beastie storm that is coming, but it will definitely last a lot longer than poor little Recon, who's now going to be up against 6 Rams. Has got trip Nesta Bees at least. His infrastructure is exposed on the front side though, so any additional Nesta Bees just simply, I don't see it happening. I believe he's trying to get one more out, but that should get pinched immediately. I say immediately, it's only archers, so it's not going to be a quick kill. There is Nesta Bees on the move. Yeah. Slow tickling, but will eventually finish it off. It's only archers, by the way. Beastie has never added in anything else, so he doesn't really have an answer to Nesta Bees. And remember, folks, Nesta Bees, that damage they do, it's going to go through the ranged armor of the Rams. And so, what does Beastie say? He says, I'm not going to bother. It's a waste. I'll come back for you later instead. He hits the treason, as you can with the Malians. You're plenty of gold in the bank to do so. And he goes for a different target, one that is completely undefended, Divine DFP. He is a greedy mother ducker. He went Imperial Age. The only thing he has to defend with is villages. And it's going to cost him dearly. Watch that eco number, folks. 46 and falling. And it's like, oh, you killed a ram? Great, that's the room for the new ram to come through. I mean, this is pretty much GG. No species getting in position. The moment that you come out that keep, he's going to snipe down the king. He's got 21 archers remaining. He repairs to try and keep it alive. He needs to repair it on top of it, though. Beastie going to snipe even more eco. He repairs. He's running out soon, folks. He's bought a little bit of time, but as long as you keep about 15 archers alive, the king can easily still be sniped. Beastie will annihilate the last of the villagers. He repairs. Simply cannot do it anymore. King on the run. Beastie moving in, looking for the snipe. The poison arrows as well adding up. And Divine DFP will be assassinated. Beastie claims the first head. And for a moment, you're like, maybe he can make it out. Maybe the king's going to escape. But the moment you click on him and you see that toxin sign time over time, you know he's a dumb one. After all that, BC, he doesn't waste not one not. You know, he hasn't got enough gold, apparently. The pit mines aren't providing enough. He wants to add more relics to his arsenal to fuel the fire that is going to set Recon ablaze. Recon, who has actually been able to buy himself some time because of Divine's death. He has gone up to 5 Nesta Bees. Should be good enough to repel Beastie for now, but not for long. Beastie now switching into Sofas. Lol's going to be a fat whiff. Meanwhile, on the southern front, Avali seems to be gaining ground. Cool. I don't know what happened here. You feel like you should have the time with the Farimba, but look how much more meaty Avali's army is. This is because of the corral. He can afford all these sofas. Core simply cannot. Toxin spam should be coming out, I imagine. No. Interestingly enough, no poison arrow here. So this is just an outright loss for Core. The king? Where are we going here? We're definitely not going north because Wham's walling him off. Avali, he hasn't scanned yet. He hasn't used the treason. He should click on the TC and see that someone's not here, though. And I don't know what the plan is for Core. Is he just going to... Oh, my God. He's going to donate himself to Wham. And I don't think it's even intentional. But it's definitely going to be a donation, folks, because that's a cannon. We'll surrender over. Oh, cool. He didn't know about the walls. The moment he saw the wall, he just surrenders. But now, I mean, Wham, just stab him. Oh, my God. Wham doesn't know. Call the Inter? I mean, it's appropriate here. He does look like a feeder when he does this. I think if he stopped before the wall, it looks innocent, but it looks slightly nefarious here. But folks, what happened is Core didn't know about this wall. He walked around it, and the moment he saw red, he's like, okay, GG. But if I'm Avali, I'm tilted now, because where's the king? Can I have the king, please? If Wham realizes that he'll just kill it with these villagers. I think for now, like, you know, you have to remember that it doesn't show easily, so you have to be looking for it. And it looks like Wham was, because you can see on the mini-map, there's no indicator here. But Wham's marching troops up here, so he should notice the fancy little crown in a second. I hope. Because otherwise, he's just missing out on an extra pop cap. Once again, just to reiterate, this does not show on the mini-map. You can see it right there. There's just red. I'd zoom more for you guys, but I have no way of doing so. Now, I'm not sure if that's just because he's too close to the wall or if that's simply to do with the kings. But for whatever reason, it's just not visible on the minimap. Someone that is becoming more visible on the minimap, though. Recon has fleshed himself out quite nicely here. Lost his primary TC, but from his secondary, built an additional 2. There's a fat granary line behind this. So decent position for him overall. I think Beast is a bit paranoid. Like, if he commits too hard into this base, maybe another player backstabs him. And he's running a static army, so it'd be very hard to get back across in time. And yes, just to clarify for people, killing the king will give you an extra 50 pop cap. Only one player in the game so far has access to that additional pop. That is, of course, Beastie, who did take out Divine DFP a few minutes back. But he hasn't added in the extra house. I feel like this is one of those things that players are still getting used to because it's very easy to forget. Admittedly, for him, it's more the case of, like, you know, he's not even at normal pop cap yet, right? He's at 174. But when he gets closer, I expect to add in additional houses. We have seen a few players that simply look like they've just forgotten about the extra population. We have to remember this is a custom rule set, definitely not one that people are used to yet. Trebs, in the meantime, are causing absolute anarchy in the base of Papiport. Papiport, who I don't think has retreated yet with the king, so he's still sitting in the TC. Anatan, what a position he's taken here. It's not just the castle, it's all the stone behind it. So he should be able to commit to the repair and then also gather enough stone to keep this up perma. Meanwhile, Papiport might struggle a little bit. Scroll's starting to move in. A little bit of drunk driving going on. We'll talk about the mangonels. There's a few units probing in to see exactly what Papiport's got. Anatan says, I'll show you mine if you show me yours. Ringgold's racing in. This double siege workshop play, it's going to whittle through Papiport quite quick. You can see gold is good, but wood is not for him. Anatan has plenty more in the bank. After all, we haven't checked in a while. He did go for, what, double TC plus Guildhall. Meanwhile, Papiport, he never went more than one TC. He was relying on the passive gold generation from Hunter Cabins to get him ahead, but instead it's just going to get him dead. The Kremlin Gremlins are called out, but they're not going to be enough to defend this. These Knights can clean up the Trebs afterwards. You know it's just a matter of time before he's going to go down and out. And as this is happening, simultaneously, now we see the push from BC moving into the base of Recon, looking to force that fight. The fight is not going to end as quickly as this one. Bev crew at it. King tries to get out and run for it, but now the chase is on. They see him. Papiport runs for the hills. Villagers to body block here. A brilliant move by him to buy some time. He'll make it to the wooden fortress, but at what cost? What have you really got left here? Arbor Trio will just snipe down at plenty of the villagers. Although Papiport lives for a few seconds more, it feels like it's not going to be more than a minute or two max. An off clash. Nesta B's trying to help out. The body blocks come through, so Sophie's not able to get around the backside. The knobs are being exactly that to Beastie. Mass Archer Force being obliterated by the firework display. Pushback is successful. Space is going to be bought. Speaking of someone who needs space, Papiport able to consolidate. Mass Siege seems to have saved him here. Surprisingly so. Well, looks like we got Kor in the chat. We can get his thoughts on this one. Yeah, we talked about the gold plenty at the beginning. Now, Kor, be honest. Are you a feeder? You look like a feeder right now. This is fine. Right, he just took like 30 shots and didn't even flinch. This guy's got more of a hard ass than 50 Cent. Damn. It's not forbidden. Are you just trying to look cool for the kids though, Kor? Because it seemed like you walked past the wall and as soon as you realized it was there, you just GG'd because you knew you were dead. But if you want to honorably mention that you're a feed, I'll accept that instead. Recon. And he's getting a lot of ground towards BC's base, but where are we going? That would have been quite effective against the knobs. Would have. Might be problematic right here for Beastie. His army's not looking so sexy. Less than 20, and Recon is up at about 80. I mean, this is a non-stop flood. Look at the Palace Guard count. 68 of them stacking up. I'm trying to, like, oh, I'm not going to hear this argument that Avalanche should stick with the Malian bros. No, there can be only one Malian king. Honestly, I actually think Avalanche is going to be the last Malian standing. I don't know what Recon, like, what can stop him here. I don't know what BC can do to prevent him. Is he still garrisoning the TC? Okay, no, so he's moved out to a keep, presumably. Yeah, so he's in the Fort the Huntress. He's going to buy some time, but not even bother. Okay, so GG gets called. BC just gives up. And Recon says it's munch time. Nom, 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 nom. Give me that king. Get that boy. If I don't move, they can't see me. I perfectly camouflage against the castle. Oh. Where is Recon going? Recon. Okay, in fairness to Recon, this is the default camera angle. There, that's the default camera angle, in fairness to Recon. But I would be a little bit sus about this weird glowy crown. In fairness, like, I have panoramic. I don't think Recon plays panoramic, so he's more like this. So if you're going like this, you probably wouldn't see it, right? Yeah, guys, I think the king's not obvious enough. Can we make his crown bigger, like really big? And he's a Malian king. It should be, like, much golder. Good English there. Much, much golder. So Recon says, you know what, an extra 50 pop cap when you're playing Chinese is for pussies. I'm just going to run in anyway. Beeline and Vanatan. Oh, and he knows exactly where he's going. Wait, Anatan's? He's going to try to wall himself in here. What am I witnessing here? And of course, Anatan is on the back foot because look who's pushing in. Puppy Paw reached mass siege. The walls haven't been fully built yet. He hits the right stone wall piece. Is he going to torch it? He opens it up. Go, go, go. Recon's in. Anatan, no. Not only does he fail to take out Puppy Paw, but he gets took out himself. What we have here is a failure to wall. I can't believe that. That one slab of wall that just needed a bit of love from a hammer. Instead, the only thing getting hammered with love is the French king. Anatan, of course, will be the fourth player out. We are down to 4 remaining, and this time Recon did, of course, get an extra 50. There's still 50 here waiting to be taken by someone. Soon, TM. For now, Recon has other things to address. We are approaching triple-digit Palace Guard count with an eco that is never going to drop behind it. And we are in, folks. The hunt is on. But where is Puppy Paw? Where can he be found here? The king. He's Scarper and he's trying to run away. Mass Mangonels are not protected here. Recon could just take out the siege. Or get taken out by it. That is also an option, yes. And the king, he makes his break. He gets away. He makes like a cake, and he makes his escape. Palisades will be rewards, so making sure there's no way quickly in. Puppy Paw will survive to fight another day. Recon, in the meantime, if he just takes out this king, he can come in with an army 50 stronger than that one. People talking about Wham's relocation east. It was a smart move, I agree. I love this move upriver with the transpose ship. This wood line is what he wants, right? And it just set himself up so nicely with that wall afterwards. Great choice to go in the stone walls. We talked about this before. I actually don't think you can go for the alternative landmark when you're playing in this regicide type format. Giving up stone walls is a big no-no in a free-for-all like this. You just get rushed, right? If you have only 4 or 5 palisades, someone's got fire lancers or just a huge massive horseman, there's no keeping them out. But with stone walls, they can't make those kind of cheesy snipes. Speaking of stone walls, Avali going to put them to good use, but the Mangonels are slashing through his numbers quickly here. Remember, siege is needed by Wham to breach through. Bombards moving and crawling towards the Fort the Huntress where the king's located. You need to actually be very careful here if you're Avali. Because the moment this gate goes down, these strokes you move up on the wall, it's just GG. You can't hold this area anymore. In fact, I wonder if Wham wants to do that. There's no reason not to here, right? You're not playing up against Mangonels. Nothing that can get on the wall is really going to hurt you. It's just kind of a winning play. Instead, just going to brute force down the front door here, move towards the keeps. Meanwhile, Recon land. Did he... Wait, but... Come on. Is it bugged? Like, there's no way he can't hit that, right? I can click it. Oh, man. This is rough. Recon, don't you want an extra 50 pop cap? Nah, mate. China's OP with an extra 50 already. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Swing those glaives, boys. Bombard's knocking the door. And look at it. Avali's going to make a break for it just in time, or maybe not. Avali, this is not a safe place to be. Avali, the wall's not high enough. I know the guns shouldn't be able to aim at you because the heights, angles, but that's not the way the rules work here. Knight, he can't get away, he can't get away! This guy right here, I'm helping. No, you're not. Sofa's put someone on the sofa, that's for sure. Avali with a headache after that one's gonna have to go sit down. Wham! Now the strongest player in the lobby, 300 pop available to him. If he, I swear to God, if he comes across here and finds this king, I'm gonna lose my mind. Recon, in the meantime, is gonna go for a harder to hunt king. And oh my God, he sussed it out! Puppy Paw is trying to play with him here, but check the wraparound. Recon takes both angles. Massey's trying to protect, but Recon marching forward. Heavy Mango shot in, staggered formation is going to be used. He has the trees and he knows exactly where his target is. And he's in. He's on like Donkey Kong. No way out for Puppy Paw. He needs to kill the army. It's the only way he'll survive. But the pass guard are on him. 2 more taps and he is tapped out. We are down to just 2. It is gonna be Wham versus Recon. Puppy Paw with his dying breath says, "Avenge me, bro." It's not gonna be an easy one though, folks. Because now, with that elimination, that brings Recon up to the 300 population as well. There is still a 50 population advantage dangling in the face of someone. Honestly, I mean, he calls himself Beast, but the Beast he is in this one is a rat, because even when he's dead, he's not dead. Actually, it's a cockroach, I guess, in this situation. Sorry, Beastie. I just don't know how this king's still alive. And yes, kings do have the ability to spy on other kings with treason. But it doesn't show, you see right there, temporarily reveals the location of all living kings. As far as I'm aware, it will not show eliminated players living kings. I'd have to double check that one myself, but considering that treason's been clicked by Recon and he didn't wonder why he could see a chunk of land here, you know, Recon's a smart boy. I think if he could see the surrendered king's character, he would have taken out already. And yes, you are correct with that movement speed. Yuan Dynasty's unlocked, so this is a big advantage for Recon. Now, Wham, the way he wins this, by the way, is by forcing a static fight. Recon has a problem. He needs to wipe the army to reset. It's just too close to his base. But if he gets that reset, this starts to open up in an uncomfortable way for Wham. You know, sure, you need a few bombards to get through some walls, but once you start to open the map a bit wider, snipe out opportunities open up for these Palace Guard that are, what's the name I was giving? I call them two-legged cow. 1.58 movement speed. You know, some people need 4 legs, but these guys only need 2. In fact, if they had 4 legs, folks, they would be moving at 1 million tiles a second. The maths checks out. Slow and steady puts me to sleep. I mean, wins the race. I'm just taking this time. 5 bombards, slowly moving through. And yes, folks, the king is still just chilling. There's no extra 50 pop in play. So, Beastie's the true victor here, folks. No matter what happens in this game, his king is going to live forever. It's beautiful, really. Imhotep. Imhotep. I know he wasn't the king. Leave me alone. I'm craving a Brendan Fraser movie right now. Yeah, we've got file balances added in. Interesting. Makes a lot of sense when you consider the amount of siege he's up against. I'm in no rush. Like we said, just surgically taking piece after piece of the base. The question is, where is this king? It's a very good question, KP. Behind the farms. And Wham makes the break for it. He's going straight on it. This cut across is dangerous, though. So be careful. Streltsing the choke point is an advantage in this area for Wham as long as the Nesta Beast can't access. This could turn to a massacre. Mango's also moving in range. These choke points are actually not to the benefit of Recon. Delete the buildings, for the love of God. Streltsy trying to cover fire the backside. Fire Lancer's wrapping in. Siege is being accessed here, but the Fire Lancer count isn't looking pretty. Choke point is a hold. Wham. Look at the population difference here. It's an absolute massacre of the Chinese. Oh, lordy. I mean, now, by real life standards, these populations should be reversed, right? But no. The Rus are in a population boom right now. Constant 300 maintained. Meanwhile, Recon reduced down to 150 and lowering. Eco's just melting here, man. This is the worst thing for him. He's defending his farmland area. How do you afford unlimited Fire Lancer push? They're premium units on the food count. You see the cost of them here. 120 food, 20 wood, 20 gold. Adds up quickly. And honestly, if I'm Wham right now, I wouldn't even be killing these racks. I'd leave them alive. Because these barracks are the MVP. Without them, you lose the entire army, the entire siege. But thanks to Recon's base positioning, you helped him. You should have an assist on your own death here. And the King's on the move. New keep is being built up behind this, so he's going to make his last stand behind the Great Wall Gatehouse. I could see one cool move here for Recon. If he gets enough Fire Lancers together, just rush across the field. Try to breach the base and assassinate the King. I really think that's his only play here. Because his economy is in shambles. Less than 2k food income per minute as the Chinese is not where it's at. Meanwhile, Wham up to 3,000 food a minute. This does truly look like the end of the road for him, especially now you see Wham sets up the proxy base right outside the Chinese. Keep drops are on their way. Multiple keeps, in fact, everything being added in. Well, you're not wrong. You could get Nest of Bees, but folks, he doesn't have the extra siege workshops to push them out. Doesn't set them up. Has got 5 Nest of Bees already, but you know, but for this argument of Nest of Bees being the answer, I want you guys to remember 8 tower range compared to Bombards at 10. Springles up at 12. Wait, what? Not at 12. Wham has not upgraded the Springles at all. Not that he's needed to be honest. It's just so difficult to take a fight with the Nest of Bees, and Recon, the assault is on. 53 ride out, not a single will come home. But I cannot help but feel that this simply is not enough. The troops spawn out. They're going to intercept and slow things down. Castles are here. Remember, there's also palisades to breach through. Remember, there's also a second line of production to breach through. And this count, like what? Wait, there's a gap. Is this doable? We've got 41 left. I don't think it's doable. If there's boiling oil on the keep, this is going to fail. There's everything on the castle. This is not going to work. Admirable attempt from Recon, but simply not good enough. The Great Migration is on. It looks like there's been a complete shift by Recon. The tricky raccoon, the trash panda, is scraping together every bit of rubbish he can to stay alive here. He makes a castle away from his castle. Fire Lancers are in. 36 are left. The King has abandoned ship. He's moved on through, past the stone walls, and Recon cannot do it. Oh, no. It was actually a scary proposition there, and correctly, Wham felt it as well. 35 Fire Lancers making it through might have been enough to torch down a 10k structure. But great reaction by Wham, shifting himself beyond the wall, giving himself a backup plan. Recon now in quite the pickle. Wham, notice that he gets rid of all the stables, like just in case, I don't want a threat coming behind me. But this should be the commitment point. I think, if I'm not mistaken, Recon is getting ready to add in another castle somewhere else if you can afford it. There's definitely room back here somewhere. This is getting silly. Recon, the problem is like his food income isn't good enough. His stable production lines aren't big enough to instantly get a second go at this. So he's probably going to have to build like 3 additional homes away from home before he's ready. And here we go, folks. Time for another home away from home. Recon, what's the plan here? So we went to our summer home. Now we've been to our winter home. I guess it's time to go to our autumn home. And we have admittedly still got spring after this before we have to circle back. Yeah, but let's be real here, chat. Nobody has a spring home, right? It's probably just going to be a hut somewhere. Yeah. Yeah, probably just a hut. Oh, maybe not. He hasn't got enough stone for more than a hut here. See, the problem is that Recon should know this entire area is occupied, and it feels like he's going through it as if he's looking for a spot. You just can't find one. Oh dear, oh dear. Wait, there's... Okay, Wham, so Wham's not being bamboozled here. He should be fully aware the king has gone. He just wants to get rid of the castles. Well, you may have been king of the castle, but Wham's the dirty rascal. And this cheeky rascal will take the win. It took a while. Recon was definitely a pain in the ass. But Wham, quite rightly, from probably the most awkward position in this game, is able to take the win.